Yeah, these monthly revenue reports from the Nevada Gaming Control Board are always interesting because they provide a kind of a benchmark, which, among other things, makes an absolute mockery of the silly numbers that everybody tosses around about the house advantage at the various different games. Um, I mean, we know, for instance, that at 21, top of the list there, the house advantage is said to be somewhere between a half of 1% and three quarters of 1%. But over here, you see the win percent for the casinos in Nevada, 14.31%. Craps is supposed to be 1.41%, but here we go, 16.75%. Roulette, well, in Nevada, it's mostly double zero roulette, which is 5.26, but by golly, the casinos managed to hold on to 17.14%. Then you start getting into the games that really screw people, or people enjoy while screwing themselves. Ultimate Texas Hold'em, 22.94%. Three card poker, the biggest rip-off in the casino, 30.5%. Mini Baccarat, or Baccarat for some reason, is 15.73%, and Mini Bac is less. Don't quite know why that would be, but anyway, Keno, uh, which is sort of like bingo, which has I don't know, that's zero player chance of winning, is actually better than three card poker. I mean, it's extraordinary, really. And there's bingo, which is basically the same thing as Keno, 22%. Um, and on it goes. But anyway, the point that I'm making is quite simply that we fool ourselves if we tell ourselves that the percentages involved in these games is sort of like in the region of 1%, whatever. And I mean, let's be clear about this. Obviously, those numbers, those sort of like 1.41%, and the zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.7, whatever, they are real, but they don't reflect the idiocy of your average gambler. I mean, gamblers are people who are mostly in it for thrills, in it with not enough money to back their play. If they had a play, which they mostly don't, they just bet randomly against random outcomes. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing illegal about it. There's certainly nothing sensible about it, but that's fine. People have the right to do whatever they want with their own money. I get my knickers in a twist when I think about what I used to see in Nevada all the time, which is people gambling with money that wasn't theirs. And the casinos just raking it in without care or concern. And on the one hand, you can say, well, it's not the casino's business to establish that people have the right to gamble this money before they actually take the bet. And I guess there's some sense in that. But basically, the casino business exists to exploit the weakness, stupidity, and greed of the masses. That's what they're there for. And in that sense, they're no different than drug dealers who are in the same business. They don't hold a gun to their customer's head. They don't force them to buy drugs. They don't force them to take drugs. They don't force them to die from drugs. That is a choice that their customers make. But the thing is, of course, that, if you are going to provide people with a noose and a chair and then bribe them to stand on the chair and put their neck in the noose before they jump, then you have a questionable business in some respects. But of course, now what has happened is that gambling has become, in the minds of the authorities and in the minds of most people.
This is a
Alexa,
reminder.
shut up. Sorry. In the minds of most people, it's become respectable and part of the fabric of life and blah de blah de blah. And it's just crazy. It's insane. I am a gambler. I recognize that. I've been a gambler all my life. I mean, at least once I could figure out what cards were and what money was and all the rest of it. So that was at around the age of 8 or 9, somewhere like that. But we have to try and maintain some sort of perspective. And I'm not dealing with the Nevada gaming control information because I think Nevada is the be all and end all, the bee's knees or whatever. But I have familiarity with Nevada. I lived there for many, 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 many years. I played in Nevada casinos for many, 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 many years. I watched lots of horror stories unfold. There's no good that comes from the kind of operations that function with state gratitude is the only way to put it in Nevada and elsewhere. They are not good for society. And it's like, I used to smoke. I gave up smoking because I realized that if I didn't, it would probably kill me. I used to drink copious amounts of alcohol. I don't anymore. I still drink booze, but I used to drink. Oh God, I don't even like to think about it sometimes. Going back to sort of my mid-teens through to my late 20s. Um, I don't know, maybe a bit longer than that actually. But I started to slow down very seriously once I got married and had kids and so on. But I'm not setting myself up as any kind of a judge. I'm simply stating facts. And then I like to put the Nevada Gaming Control Board thing up every so often because it is a yardstick. It is a means of getting a bit of perspective on exactly what's involved here. And I'm always sort of fascinated by the fact that total revenue from counter and card games, as they call them, is what 5.2 billion, because those are thousands there. 5.2 billion from slot machines. It is 10.4 billion. You know, and let's see, the best slot machines have a household of the $25 ones, 5.65%. Go up to the $100 ones, 7.2%. So the idea, which is promoted by Vegas Matt and others, that the more you put in, the better chance you have of making money, is bollocks. Multi-denomination, 6.68. So you're looking at from 5.65% house advantage all the way up to 9.26 for the 1 cent machines. Overall, the average 7.12%. Well, I mean, you're a fool if you play 00 roulette at 5.26%. So what does that say about you if you're playing slot machines at 7.12? I mean, come on, Jesus. But anyway, it's always an interesting exercise, I think, to look at the Nevada numbers, and the Nevada numbers are as good a guide as any, and of course they're accessible. That's the most important thing. You can find them every month, and this is a lot of money here. Apparently, Macau generates more money by quite a bit than Nevada, but that's neither here nor there. What we've got here is a kind of a benchmark, a yardstick, a sort of whatever you want to call it. But I find it really interesting. Oh, and of course, the eagle-eyed amongst my audience of millions will notice my mistake. The best deal in slots is wow. It's a big improvement on 5.65% house edge. It's 4.47. Sorry about that. I mean, what can be said about slot machines? It's insanity to pour money into those things. And there's Vegas Matt and his merry men, sort of saying at the end of last year, at the end of 2024, that they lost 300,000 last year. Why am I laughing? I mean, I suppose I'm laughing because it wasn't my money. But I mean, come on, guys, Jesus, But the joke's on us because they made much more than 300,000. Alexa, stop. I'm so sorry about Alexa. It just keeps going on and on. It's because I'm elderly and I need reminders, and then I need to be reminded to turn the bloody thing off. before I start one of these videos. But hey, this is life, all right? So, my apologies. And what can I say other than that? Okay, so 4.47 all the way up to 9.26 is the house edge, and Vegas Matt and Co are a clever lot because they're exploiting us in exactly the same way as the casinos do. They are pissing money up the wall in the hundreds of thousands and then raking it in far larger amounts in other ways. So I, wait, I've even forgotten the breakdown now for the Vegas Mat crew: 70% something or other, and 15% something or else, and 15% something else, but 0% from gambling for sure. But anyway, they've got their business, and it's a free country, a free world, and if we're dumb enough to enable them, then the joke's on us, right?